Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse at the beginning of Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. Now, we'll be covering the court, but we're also going to be covering, despite being banned from it due to too much investigative reporting, the United Nations General Assembly. We'll get back to that in a moment. First, news from the court. Last night, nearly midnight, making the deadline, however, the lawyers for Sean Combs filed their long-awaited, more than 100-page sentencing submission. Not surprisingly, they're asking for time served, which would mean basically release on October 3rd, maybe a couple of days of processing. This sometimes happens. They said 14 months, no more than 14 months, and that's what he served since his arrest and the trial. Conviction on some, but certainly not all counts. In any case, we put the thing up, and you can find it there. In another sentencing that's coming up, Charlie Javice, the famous fintech fraudster. We actually have written Did He Do It? And we also have Fintech Fraudster out. She was convicted on all of the counts against her. Now she doesn't want to fly to New York for sentencing, but Judge Hellerstein yesterday turned down at least her first. There's a second request now pending. Her first request to postpone sentencing was all redacted, entirely redacted. And he said, I cannot grant it because I've set aside all of September 29th for the sentencing and to switch it around in the middle of a trial. And the trial that he's doing is the trial against BNP Paribas, the French bank, for assisting in the Darfur genocide. Darfur, of course, is one of the many locations that the UN has failed on. Under Guterres, worse than ever. But the trial was really something. Yesterday, this guy from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York was testifying how, $10 billion of illicit or unauthorized, as he put it, transactions with Sudan by BNP Paribas. That's a lot of money. They were not just one bank among others. They sort of, because more and more banks, whether they were moral or not, saw the sanctions, saw the genocide, didn't want to do it, BNP doubled down and became the lone correspondent bank for many Sudanese government agencies and banks. So that trial will resume Thursday because, as will a couple of trials down at 100 Center Street. These are the Jewish holidays, so many, not all cases, but some trials, juror trials, are taking the next 2 days off. The UN is not. They're kicking it off today. And in a few short moments, we're going to be covering the speech of Antonio Guterres, because I want to tell you, sorry to say that, you've heard it before, totally corrupt. It's really shocking to me, the lack of scrutiny of this non-entity, because he's a man, at least from my experience, that when faced with questions about why he neglected to include on his public financial disclosure his links to China Energy Fund Committee, whose Patrick Ho was convicted right here in Southern District of New York, rather than refiling, rather than explaining, had Inner City Press roughed up and banned ever since from the United Nations. Well, we still cover it. In fact, we've made lemonade out of these lemons and found a beat on the SDNY that's actually significantly more interesting than the repetitive circus that is the United Nations. But we should be able to go in this week and cover these speeches. If we're not, we'll cover them from outside. Watch, you'll see. There may be some vlogs later today. To be continued.